Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening for wherever you are, traders around the world. Doing something slightly different today. We're not pre-recording the trade analysis. We thought we'd do it on a Monday morning for the markets that are open on this bank holiday in order to have the most up-to-date information for you to be able to have a look at the markets and for me to be able to do my analysis. So we're going to crack on with that, get straight into the charts and keep this nice and concise. 15 minutes, have a look for all the major things that people are interested in, and we'll go from there. So we're going to start off by having a look at a very popular market, which is the German stock market, the DAX 40. It is closed today. We can see that indicated up here by saying it's on a holiday, but that's no problem. It's obviously going to open tomorrow, but we're just going to have a look at these key levels of interest. Now, let me zoom really into the price action here, because this is what we're interested in, this sideways range here. Just let me grab my Fibonacci tool. Always interested in a swing high to a swing low. Now, what interests me about the DAX is this Fibonacci retracement here, this 50%. We have this sort of bounce, break, and now we've found this low here. I anticipate that we'll find some resistance up at this Fibonacci retracement, which is 14,404. So if the market wants to rally up to that 14,404, that's what will interest me for a short position. And the way I pull fibs is just from very basic swings high to swings low. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Interestingly enough, if you have a look at the 61.8, it lines up perfectly with the R2 weekly pivot. Let me just zoom in a bit more, because I know some of you will be on mobile devices, and we'll be able to have a look at that. You can just see it. This is called confluence, when two or more technical aspects line up together. So we've got a bit of confluence here. So, you know, if we do have a really strong week on the DAX, I'd be interested in looking for that 61.8. Perhaps we're able to take a break of the 50% somehow. So that's the upside. I mean, what happens if we start coming back down to the downside? Well, you know, we have seen this zone down here as a potential buy zone. We'll just try and pull a box from that low to that high there. We can see that we do have a buy zone down here, approximately between this 13,888 and this 13,976. So what would I be looking for there? Let me just get rid of the fib and we'll see the buy zone very clearly in blue. What I'd be looking for is for the market to come down into this zone, possibly get involved with these pivots. We've got the monthly pivot, we've got weekly pivot, and tomorrow we've got the daily pivot as well, or a couple of daily pivots. I'd be interested into entering that zone, then breaking back up. So we'll have to see what happens. I mean, conversely, though, you could be looking at a descending wedge for those who are more bearish on the indices. I'm not really bearish at the moment. I think we're going to pull back before we see some upside. But we are seeing a descending triangle that people may consider taking short. But that is not one for me at the moment. Let's jump straight over to something completely different. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, a very, very popular crypto market to trade. One of the reasons the spreads are a lot better now. Eightcap does have a 12-point spread on Bitcoin, which makes it infinitely more tradable. We have the all-time highs back here from November, where things went a bit crazy and we nearly hit that $70,000 mark. Again, we can pull that Fibonacci. We'll delete the other one for the time being. You can see we've sort of struggled to sustain above that 38.6 since we made those lows. Now, it's different ways to look at Bitcoin. Just by looking at basic trends. Now, clearly it's over this past couple of weeks and from March, at the end of March and April, it has been bearish. We are in a downtrend. We've gone down from 48,240 down to sort of 38. Again, let me zoom in a little bit more here. But at the same time, we do have these higher lows on Bitcoin. We also have these higher highs, these sort of parallel lines on a longer term basis. Now, this is sort of oscillating on a daily time frame over a couple of months now. But, you know, if we see this trend line get taken, then it may well start seeing some bearish moves. Of course, we have this horizontal support as well that could be areas of interest. But we are in the middle of a lot of chop. You know, as we've been sort of swinging, there's a lot of chop around here. So I think it's a tricky one to try and figure out which direction Bitcoin's going at the moment. People obviously have the views, very passionate about Bitcoin. The chart slightly, so we just have a look. But I think for me, I'd be interested in looking at possibly a retest if we're bullish at 41,534. We have broken the downside today. Just interesting to see what it does with this downside as well. Are we going to experience a true breakout here, or are we going to have a fake out? So if you are bullish on Bitcoin, then you would be looking at the candle right now. And what you may be interested in is seeing the market break back above the level. We just finesse this slightly on an hourly chart just to sort of describe how you could potentially take this sort of setup here. Now, been a very bearish candle in the early hours this morning. Looked like we're stepping up and then bang, huge amount of selling volume came in. So while the market's holding below this level, we're not really interested in trading that Bitcoin. And that level is the, just grab that level for everyone so they know, 39,237. But if the market starts breaking back above this level, then we may look for a long. We may pin our stop here, because what that may indicate, if the market breaks back above, is that we have a short squeeze, which is everyone who's short down here is going to start getting squeezed, and they start getting out of positions as they feel the pain, and more people come up here. But we'll have to see if that happens. At the moment, I prefer to trade Bitcoin on a daily time frame, and I'm not really seeing a huge amount other than potentially breaking back up, maybe challenging that 41. Obviously, if we really do start selling, I've got a huge level down here at 29.7, but that's some distance away. So we'll have to wait and see if that market wants to do that. Moving on to the NASDAQ, the very, very popular US market that a lot of people do trade as well, including myself, the Tech 100. Now, Tech 100 has been incredible. Zooming all the way around out here, you can see how we had that post-coronavirus sell-off here, and then the market's just absolutely exploded. As we had global lockdowns, some of the tech sector did absolutely fantastically because everyone was online, and it continues to be extremely strong. Now this, if we look, I'm probably better off putting this on a weekly time frame. That makes the candles obviously larger. But we can see here how, we've had these sort of pullbacks before, but this is a true correction where we are now. This is a true correction where the market has come off quite significantly. You say correction's a 10% move. It depends on the market, but you've got a 22% move there from those current highs. Now, what's interesting, I'm going to come back down to daily time frame, is how we are looking like we're rolling over. We had this sort of double top here where it looked like we had this incredibly strong rally back from the 15th of March for eventually breaking back above that 15,196. And then just a big fake out there where no more buyers were there. Buyers got trapped and then pulled down. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen in these coming days. We have major support down here, slightly below here, down at 13,020. If that goes, then we could see some significant downside. But there is some additional confluence with that support there. We've got down here as well at 12,967. So for me, that would be a buy zone down on the NASDAQ if we see that level this week. I mean, it is some distance away from where we are now, but it's only a couple of days of volatility. That's about 900 points away from where we closed. I don't know where we are going to be looking today or where the futures are, but that's where we're going to be looking here, down about 900 points down. Potentially buy 12,967 to 040 area. Now, zooming in a little bit further, this is probably more 4-hourly or an hourly time frame. We do have this sideways range. Now, we're going to break this sideways range at some point. So if we open up in this range, I'll be interested to see where we are in this range here. If we start putting a descending wedge onto the downside, we'll look for a downside break. If we start putting an ascending wedge, we'll look for an upside break here at 13,880 or 14,264. I'll be interested to see if we extend out of this range. Got its gap closed just above here on the NASDAQ as well. But we'll have to see where the market actually opens. So for me, on the most immediate, it's looking for a range extension here. I don't think we're going to keep playing this sideways range. I think it's too tight in the current volatility. I think we're going to decide one way or the other. So that is what I am looking at right now on the NASDAQ. Move on to gold. Gold's interesting at the moment. It is showing us, we're just going on a weekly time frame at gold, just try and make sense of where we are in the grand scheme of things. Gold's interesting. It nearly did that double top. Any reversal trader who was wanting to short that 2074, I feel sorry for you. That was just a little bit unfortunate, wasn't it? You just got so close and then it rolled back over. But it looks like we have projected ourselves away from this 1916 area after some dirty little fake outs to the downside. And it looks like we're possibly heading back to challenge that 2074. It's a tricky one, I think, to get long on now we've left that area. I mean, if you do think we are going to go challenge that 2074, then potentially we could be taking a long here and pin our stop below this 1916. It's only a couple of weeks of price action, but it'd be a longer term swing trade. Looking on the daily time frame, we just see we've had this. I'm just going to clear some of these some of these lines. We have rolled up finally into this high here. This is a high back from the 14th. I'd be interested to see what this daily candle does. If it just breaks up and just carries on going really, really high, so be it. There's not really anything we're going to be able to do. If it fakes out, that'll be a different story. Maybe then it'll have another go at the level. So I think for me, if we get a pullback from here, where the market pulls back and then looks like it's having another go at that level, then breaks up, then I think I'd be interested in the long. But I'm not really interested in chasing gold at the moment. And of course, I'll be looking to sell up in this zone, at least initially. At least on the first test, I'd be interested in looking to sell between this 207.70 and 2074 spot 8. So that sort of $4 range, if you like, that I would be interested in. Just give me 2 minutes to get some more up. Some of the big currency pairs. If anyone's managed to join us in any of our live trading sessions, but I will be doing the live trading session from tomorrow. Everyone is welcome to come and have a look. I'll be trading with my Eightcap MT4 account and seeing if we can make some profit in the markets. Okay, so this is cable. This is the pound-dollar currency pair that's been quite volatile. It's strange. This is my currency. You can probably tell I'm English. I actually like this currency to be weak because I do nearly all my business in dollars, so it can carry on coming down for me. So I've got a bearish bias because that's what I want to happen. But of course, we can't let that influence our actual analysis. We have to try and be as objective as we can with trading, which is always quite difficult because we always sort of have things that we root for, don't we, so to speak. This is roughly where we are with cable at the moment. That's probably not the best, to be fair, but roughly sort of descending channel here. Now we're starting to put pressure on this one spot. I'm just trying to zoom in a little bit more so we can see that all the pivots making a bit of a mess. One spot 2973 level. Now the question is, are we finally going to break this level? Because we have been below here twice before already. Look at this. We came down below this £1.30 level, got bought back up, came down a little bit lower, got bought back up. The question is, are we ready to go, or are we going to come down, do a slightly lower low, and then fake back into the range again? I think if you're going to try and take some short side on cable, then you need to get your stop out the way, really. You need to just sort of get your stop above one of these dailies, maybe even at a high. It's a weekly time frame, so maybe you need to get your stop above one of these weeklies because it's tricky. Just try and finesse it on the daily time frame. You can see here how strong this is. A perfect example of a short squeeze on Forex. Market comes down, holds below this level, traps all the sellers, then bang, punishes them all. They all get out, and then it starts coming back down. So for me, I'd be interested in the short on cable, but I will need to put my stop above a couple of days price action, just in case we get a little bit whipsawed with some price action. I don't want that to happen. So we'll have a look and see what happens with that. Finally, we'll have a look at EURUSD to try and take us into that nice 15 minutes of analysis. Where are you, please? Too many charts. Eurodollar was doing a big double bottom here, but it looks like it's a bit weak again. Let me just zoom out a little bit more. We'll get a little bit of sense of perspective of where we are on Eurodollar on a weekly time frame. Now, we're getting towards that sort of euro weakness where we haven't spent. These are big levels down here. These are historically low levels, or at least certainly for some time. If we just go back, it's not until we really are going back here. It's not until the sort of .com issues that we had a long time ago, that around the early noughties, that we saw that we had levels lower than particularly where we are at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what happens down here. It is looking bearish at the moment, so I think I'm interested in taking a short on Eurodollar. But again, I think pinning stops, looking for that swing trade, pinning stops all the way above this one spot 09385 is the play here. Then it just gives us that we're looking at 150 odd pips there, isn't it? It just gives us that room to breathe in case we do get some whipsawing here. But I think that is a trade that I'll be looking to take relatively shortly. Just have a look and see if that works. So yeah, overall, probably still bullish on the indices, looking for pullbacks or strength. Bitcoin a little bit unsure about at the moment as it continues to go sideways, but we are looking for that daily fake out. Gold's still looking bullish, so it'd be interesting, a bit of a pullback in order to get long from it. And the two major currency pairs, pound dollar and also euro dollar, are looking bearish, and we're just looking for opportunities to potentially get short on those two markets. So that is me just having a look at the Monday morning, seeing where we are. We've still got a bank holiday today, so we've still got a mixture of markets and indices that are a little bit that are a little bit mixed at the moment because we've still got some markets that are close there. You can see the DAX in the top left is close, so we're not really going to start properly until tomorrow afternoon when everything is open. So we'll see where we are, and hopefully you'll be able to join me on Wednesday where I do a live session where we're looking at some of the trades, some of the ideas we've taken for the week, and I'll show you some of the recordings of the trades that I've taken over the last week, explain the strategies and rationale for those. So have a great day, do trade safe, and hopefully I will see you on Wednesday.